Yay!
Yay.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us your whole experience with this program, which I feel will be beneficial for everybody that is interested in finding out more about it, to get a perspective from someone that took the program.
Yeah.
To get a different perspective, because I could talk about it all day long and enjoy it and love it, but I think that coming from someone that's taken the actual course, it can really be instrumental in someone's decision. So let's start with that. Let's start with the decision. So what was your experience of signing up for it?
So there was some resistance, but because of the money wound. And that is actually what prompted me into signing up. I knew that I had to make it happen. And what was awesome was that I made the decision and the commitment mentally and emotionally. And then I saw all of the resistance externally and was actually able to be like, I don't identify with this anymore. And I need this program. I need this program. So that was a big reason why I ended up signing up and with so much enthusiasm as well, is because I was able to watch myself need the program.
Right. I think that when we are in that moment of doing something that can be really huge, it can bring up a lot of stuff, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So why do you think it was the right decision for you to do it?
Do I think it was the right decision for me? It's really about foundation, right? So for myself personally, both as a businesswoman and as a woman growing into my adulthood at the next level, finances and healthy relationship with money is really meaningful to me. And I'm kind of dropping everything to set up a strong foundation. I have the heart, I have the soul, but there's this missing piece that kept showing up for me in cycles and cycles and cycles. And that was actually one of the main things that you said in the marketing leading up to the actual launch of the program, was about the cycles and what that's really about, and getting down to the true cause of those cycles. And it's interesting because it's actually the cycles that brought me the most pain. It's like money stuff happens, right? In and out, but it's the cycles that didn't make sense. And so it was a good decision to sign up because those cycles can never happen again for me. I'm too aware of the mechanisms and the ways that the money wound shows up, to where I've now had a process of bringing the unconscious to the conscious, and I'm able to now make a decision from the conscious space. And then also being able to, formulate my actions and my thoughts and my feelings around that conscious awareness. So it was a game changer for me, 110%.
Awesome. So did you actually have, or do you now have an understanding of the importance of this first step of signing up and how it affected your results in the program, or even how you relate that to your clients, so the way that they sign up with you?
Absolutely. I mean, I saw the resistance. I saw how long it took to allow the financial resources to show up to support me. I saw that I could make a decision here, but not fully commit to it to the point where in my external reality it showed up. And that's a complete parallel in what I saw with a lot of my clients. I also initially enrolled in this program from a different place than where I actually showed up in the program, right? So I enrolled in the program from this place of, I'm so sick and tired of this, I'm so frustrated, but I showed up in the program from a perspective of, I'm so excited to get this healed. I'm so excited for what's on the other side of this work. And that is actually something that now I'm clear I want my clients to experience with me as well.
Yeah.
In their own self, and obviously with anything that I put out.
Yeah, did it change? So you said that the way that you signed up and the way that you showed up, was it the content that helped you shift that, or was it something that happened automatically within you? What do you think caused that?
So it's both. I mean, on the one end, the content brings you into the awareness of what's been in your blind spot. right? So that automatically enables me to show up differently. But then there was also this conversation that we had about the actual result and the focus on the results. And I saw that I actually had just signed up, and as if I was celebrating the sign up as if that was the actual result,
Yeah.
that I was in the program to make more money, to heal my money wound, to ultimately make more money, and to show up as the mentor for my client and really cause shift that assists with the evolution of life on earth, which is my deal. That's my thing, right?
Yeah.
So yes, the content absolutely brought me into the awareness of how I had been operating and gave me the space to say, no wonder the results are looking the way that they're looking in my business. But there was also this shakeup between you and I personally, which was also a great addition to doing the work in a group, was the individual attention that you would give when you saw one of us kind of off track or not necessarily maximizing the information the way that we could be to see the results that we could be seeing at the maximum level. So it's a combination of both.
Okay, good. So you mentioned something about your own particular path, your own thing that you're working on, like that's more like your purpose, right?
Yeah. Yep.
How do you think that this work has affected your trajectory, path, or even purpose forward?
Sure. I actually had like a legit spiritual awakening at the same time, and I can't even distinguish whether it was caused by or just supported by.
It doesn't really matter. We don't have to think too much into it, right?
Have this real spiritual awakening that there are different levels of consciousness to call things in and to manifest from, and that the money wound would have me in the fear embodiment for the rest of my life if I didn't cause a shift. And that's what this program essentially helped me do by becoming aware of what my true root issues were, the true cause, and also making me more of an astute, an astute student of myself. I was able to really step into a level of self-mastery by understanding how I'm really working and what's really motivating my results.
Awesome.
So yes, it did change my trajectory, 110%.
Awesome. I know it can be very deep in many, many ways. How do you think it has changed your experience with money?
So money is just a tool. What I really want is on the other end of the tool. And that is what spun me into the realization of desire bringing me more in touch with a more expanded version of myself. It's not, I wanted money, but now I want the thing that's on the other side of money. So at first I wanted money, then I wanted what the money could buy, but then I actually wanted the energetic translation of what that money could buy. Yeah. And so it brought me into this huge awareness on a more spiritual and energetic level of what motivates my desire for wealth. And also I do have a different experience where I now don't desire the money, and I don't actually operate from that place of I need to sell this. It's more like there's value to offer, and I know for a fact that there are people that need this value. And so on the other end of them giving me money for this value, they're receiving that value and bringing it into their life. So it was a whole different way of really looking at it. And I also don't have as much fear in my body about money. I don't have anxiety about making money or receiving money. It's actually more about staying in this centered place of calling people in. That's my next level of mastery now. And so it is a completely new way of looking at money and desiring money itself.
Yeah. Sure. I really loved what you said about not making the money the goal, or the desire. Yeah. It's like what's behind that, because I've actually had that experience in the past when I just focused on the money. And not to say that, there's anything wrong with that. But I did find that when I was just focused on the money, not on the money and what the money does or what the money, will gift my life and all this other stuff, that I ended up feeling very unfulfilled.
Yes. So it really taught me to choose wisely and to discern. really, and to look at more of like, what do I want to call into my life, not from the external census that I've taken of what I need in my life, but what I want to call into my life in order to embody more of myself. So it was really, again, like a very deep experience. And then it also allowed me to purge all of my survival stuff. It allowed me to really get to my beneath the surface. And survival is something that, for somebody that is talented like myself, but was motivated by survival and fear, it was really powerful to switch more into the love embodiment by wanting the thing that's on the other side of money,
Right.
and not the money itself.
Okay, awesome.
I stopped actually asking for things like security. I stopped asking for things like stability, because the source that I'm asking it from doesn't know instability. So that no longer became the currency, my driving force of wanting money itself. It's very cool.
Right. And plus, to understand, I think like it's a deeper understanding of knowing that, like, first of all, the security always comes from you, right? You are the one that creates security. The money doesn't give you security. It will never give you security, right? So, and wanting security from outside things like money is totally ridiculous, because there's no such thing. Right. I love it.
100%, yeah.
What's the difference in your understanding of money? Or even like, how has it affected you? Or you could answer both. Like, how has it affected you, and how you receive money?
So money is that tool. Really, that changed the game for me. Money is the tool. The thing that I actually want is on the other end of money. That enables me to, I made over $3,000 from 2 different clients during the program, and also received thousands and thousands of dollars from other sources as well. So what I was opened up to is the miraculous. What I was opened up to is operating at a new set point and receiving money at a new set point. And so it was one of those things that it was so miraculous that it actually shakes up your sense of reality and what's real, right? And it brought me into this understanding of the unseen and tapping in from that perspective and pulling it into my reality, calling it into my reality, but from a place of I'm available to serve, and I'm available to feel good while I'm doing it. And what was the other half of the question? What was the other part of it?
Well, I asked the difference in your understanding of money and how has it affected the way that you receive. I think you pretty much answered both.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so what was your whole experience with the content of the program? The switch gears.
Yeah.
Switch gears a little bit.
Yeah, totally. So it was actually super deep. I could feel my conditioning switching. Like, when you get the headache, not even the headache, but like you can feel your brain working things through. It was that type of content, which I love because I need things that I've never thought of before. And the content is expansive because you're creating new experience through the content. You're having a new experience in the body with with the content, and also then the assignments as well. So content-wise, I was able to become aware of where I was really operating from, how I was really operating, what was really driving things, and able to have a shit ton of no wonder moments and compassion for myself, and also discipline for myself, and being able to really have more, again, the self-mastery piece comes up for me, where I feel that much more the driver of my own vehicle, so to speak, on every dimension that I exist, because of the content being such that it made me look at things and then experience things at another level. So it was very complete. And the assignments, too, were really complete, even though some of them, like, the shopping spree or whatever it is, like, clients, the money I had to process and all that, so I'm actually doing that today. But they're all on my list to do, and they all make sense in terms of creating a new experience, that it's not actually about doing the assignment, but noticing how you're responding and reacting to the assignment.
That's the goal.
Itself.
It's the experience of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it. What about the length of the program? What do you think about that?
I loved it in terms of content, but I do feel like I'm gonna miss the camaraderie of the group.
You still have it. It's still there.
Yeah, it is. And but it's different, of course.
Yeah, of
And
course, of course.
there, but it's different. But the length of time was good to see this amount of shift for me. And granted, you have to show up for the work. You know what I mean? Like, this is the type of content that you are required to really do the work, to have the experience, to really take the knowledge away with you at the end of the 4 weeks. But there's also a trickle down effect, right? So this is the type of content that has a lifespan and a shelf life, that if within the 4 weeks you're not really getting it, it's going to still work with you and trickle down effect after the program. And I know that for a fact because I've had a different experience in my body. It doesn't just go away because it's not a higher perspective that I got. I actually had a new experience in my body.
Yeah.
So the length of time was good. It was pretty concise. And you have this feeling of like, I don't want to waste any of my time. I have 4 weeks to really make it happen for myself, and I'm going to rise to that occasion, you know? And then you match that energy. You have that energy as a facilitator, not a rushed energy, but more like there is an urgency to understand this week so that next week you're able to show up for next week in its fullness, and the week after in its fullness, and the week after in its fullness.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Even as a feedback, as a mentor, that really is supportive for me.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So tell everybody about your biggest day.
Okay, so one day, over 2 days actually, I made 5 figures, and it was incredible. And not only did I make 5 figures, but I didn't have the like squirrel effect when it showed up. It was like
hiding, you mean?
It was the fight or flight or freeze in the middle of the cars coming, right?
Oh, is that what you mean by squirrel? I love that so much.
Yeah, it's like none of that was happening. It was a receiving, and I received it in the higher aspect of my being. I received it on a level that said, okay, great. And that is the creation that was manifested. What do I want to create with this money? Right? So it had this signature, this frequency of creation that I wanted to work with it, instead of just like, okay, I got some money, where's the next money coming from? The next money is coming from this recycling, and this next money is coming from this vibration of receiving that I want to see more of and more of in my life. And so I had a big money day. I had no freak out, no like residual freak out afterwards, because that wound, that mechanism of freaking out and giving all the money away, I was conscious of, right? So even though the freak out came a couple of days later, it was not paralyzing. I was able to really move through it and look at what was coming up for me and be like, oh, it was a mechanism, and almost feel like, thank you, mechanism, but I got this. I'm overriding you. And, because the whole point isn't to just like have no wounds. The whole point is to self-master in the moment when the emotions are coming up, to manage them well. Yeah. It's in the moment to still be able to push through and make a decision to where the mechanism doesn't stop me in my tracks, which is something that happened before, which actually fed into this weird, very subtle, dull sense of, am I failing as a coach? And so not having that undertone was really powerful for me, 110%.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So what do you think that this will mean for your future, for you?
I think if I didn't take this course, it would have taken me a couple more years to be in the receiving mode at the level that I want to receive right now. I went from, at the beginning of, like before the course, really wanting to just make a consistent 10K to now I'm like energy, everything, 30K realm, right? So just naturally it boosted my desire to serve and my desire to live at the other end, at the other side of 30K a month, right? And to serve at the other end of 30K a month. And it also gave me permission to want the best clients in the world and to be the best mentor in the world for me, right? The best clients in the world for me. And the best mentor in the world for me and for those clients. So that's been a really powerful thing for me, is really shifting. I'm a huge, huge personality. I totally know what I'm doing. I'm phenomenal at my work. And I was handicapped by my cycles and what I was doing with those cycles and how I was feeding myself with those cycles. And so this really changed my life in terms of feeling ready to go after the life that I want from a space of love embodiment and not from the space of fear embodiment, which was like kryptonite for me. That was what my experience was beforehand.
Yeah, so, yeah. I hear you. And I think that a lot of people do have that that feeling like it's not always the same for every person, but they just know that there's something wrong with the way that they feel about money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So what would you tell someone that's considering doing this program?
Don't consider it. Do it. Just do it. You have to. You know, there's some foundational work that comes before the strategies, the funnels, the, $10,000 a month mastermind or whatever it is. There are foundational steps rooted in self-mastery, rooted in knowing yourself and you being in the driver's seat before you kind of give away your most essential energies to a strategy that may or may not work for you and that you may or may not feel emotionally attached to. And so this is the requisite healing that comes before the receiving mode, and I would recommend this to anybody, especially like a really strong personality that deals with a very secret level of either shame or frustration or anger or like resentment towards money, to really heal that and understand what's driving that, and even how that resentment, that what those layers are a mask for what's really happening. And once you find that out, you are able to again bring the unconscious to the conscious place and make powerful moves that change your whole life. So I would recommend this for especially big personalities that also need a mentor that's gonna hold strong space, and not be wavered until you get the result that you're here to get. That was also a really powerful thing that changed my world. And both as a mentor myself and also, and it's funny, I'll finish my sentence. Both as a mentor and as a student, but then also, I actually stopped using the word coach. It felt too small. By the end of the coach felt like, I'm not a coach, I'm a mentor. Like,
right.
And that was a big deal too, because it's like, no games, no nonsense, so that was really powerful. It's great.
Love it. So, this is a bonus question. Did you have fun?
Say it again?
Did you have fun?
I had a lot of fun. And the connections that I made with the other women was really powerful. The level of vulnerability, the level of community, being able to sort of break some of those walls down where we don't want to, as coaches, kind of talk about each other's business or feed into each other's stuff. You know what I mean? We were able to really just support one another. And that was really powerful. It's a place to, this program was a place to celebrate wins and to be a big personality and to stand in your excellence and to actually own it. And the whole point was to own it. If you don't own it by the end of the course, it's your fault. As far as I'm concerned. So yeah.
Any last thoughts?
This was an amazing program. Thank you for putting this out after your years of deliberation. I appreciate you for doing this. This was really powerful. And this was like next level inner work for real around money, and it's very powerful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing with everybody. And for the rest of you, I will be including some additional information about the program with this video.
Excellent.
Ciao.